Imagine living in a world where your local priest knew every intimate detail of your bedroom activities. In medieval Europe, this wasn't just imagination, it was reality. Church officials didn't just care about your prayers, they were absolutely obsessed with tracking, controlling, and documenting every aspect of people's sex lives. But why were medieval priests so intensely focused on everyone's intimate moments? The answer lies in a massive church initiative that turned priests into the original sex police. These religious officials maintained detailed handbooks listing hundreds of sexual sins, with specific penalties for each act. Some priests even carried around actual questionnaires, yes, medieval sex surveys, to interrogate their congregants about their most private moments. The church's obsession went far beyond basic rules about adultery. Priests were required to ask married couples about specific positions, times of day, and even which clothes were worn during intimate moments. They needed to know if couples had relations on church holidays before Mass or, heaven forbid, during Lent. Every detail mattered, and every detail had its own specific punishment. But here's where it gets even more intense. Medieval priests weren't just collecting this information for fun. They believed that controlling people's sex lives was quite literally a matter of saving souls from eternal damnation. These religious officials were convinced that improper sexual behavior would send their congregants straight to hell, and they saw themselves as the only line of defense. And if you think that's surprising, wait until you hear about the actual punishments these priests would impose for various sexual transgressions. From mandatory pilgrimages to extreme fasting, the consequences for breaking these intimate rules were designed to make sure no one would dare disobey again. The priests' fixation on sexual matters went far beyond simple confession. They developed elaborate handbooks detailing every imaginable sexual scenario, creating a bizarre medieval bureaucracy of bedroom behavior. These penitentials prescribed specific punishments for each sexual transgression, from 7 years of fasting for adultery to 3 years of prayer for a single passionate kiss. But why were these holy men so intensely focused on everyone's intimate moments? The answer lies in their belief that controlling sexual behavior meant controlling souls. Medieval priests saw themselves as spiritual gatekeepers, believing that unchecked sexual desire was the fastest route to eternal damnation. Their obsession reached such extremes that they even regulated married couples' sex lives. Priests created detailed calendars dictating when couples could be intimate, forbidding sex on Sundays, religious festivals, during Lent, and even 3 days before receiving communion. This meant married couples could only be intimate about 100 days per year. The priests' sexual surveillance didn't stop there. They required detailed confessions about sexual positions, with some positions carrying heavier penances than others. Even sexual thoughts needed to be confessed, leading to increasingly intrusive questioning during confession. This fixation had real consequences. Priests could deny communion, impose harsh penances, or even excommunicate people based on their sexual conduct. They wielded this power to shape medieval society's entire approach to intimacy, creating a legacy of sexual guilt that would persist for centuries. Perhaps most surprisingly, these medieval priests' obsession with sex actually created the West's first comprehensive system of sexual education, albeit a highly restrictive one. Their detailed documentation of sexual practices, while intended to prevent sin, became an unprecedented record of medieval intimate life. The medieval priests' overwhelming preoccupation with everyone's sex lives wasn't just about moral control, it was about power. By positioning themselves as the ultimate authorities on sexual matters, they gained unprecedented influence over people's most private moments. Their obsession shaped centuries of attitudes toward sexuality, creating ripples that extended far beyond the confessional booth. Next time you wonder why certain sexual taboos exist in Western society, remember those medieval priests, meticulously documenting and judging every intimate detail of their congregants' lives, convinced they were saving souls one bedroom rule at a time.